Hello, boys and girls. I hope you're doing well today. Today we are going to read our story, Field Trips Again. And we have to listen really closely to this story because we are trying to find our vocabulary words that we just learned about. Our vocabulary words are hidden somewhere in this story, so we need to find them. Let's listen to the beginning of this and see what we can find. I will be asking you two questions at the end of this story, so you need to listen really closely so you can know the answer to whatever I decide to ask you. Are your listening ears on? Let's go.
Field trips. What places do you go to with your class? Have you ever been on a field trip? A field trip is a special outing to a place in your community, such as a zoo or a local museum. You might go on a field trip with your class or with a club or team. Field trips are a fun way to change your everyday routine. They also help you learn about different places in your community. A state park is an exciting place to visit on a field trip. In a state park, you can walk through a forest, go boating on a lake, or go for a hike. The people in charge of state parks are called rangers. The rangers can teach you about local plants, animals, rocks, and historical buildings. There are many outdoor activities you can enjoy at a state park.
Did you hear the vocabulary words in that section? There were two of them, local and routine. It said that field trips are a nice way to change your routine and learn about local things in your community. Let's go to the next section now.
Do you like sharks, dolphins, and other underwater creatures? If you answered yes, then you'd love a field trip to an aquarium. Many aquariums have exhibits about animals and plants that live in the local waters. You can learn about the fish that you have seen in rivers and lakes. If you live near the ocean, you can learn about the shells and seaweed that wash up on the beach. A fun part of any field trip to an aquarium is a special show with large sea animals, such as dolphins or seals. These animals are very intelligent. Their trainers teach them to leap, twirl, and perform tricks. If you are lucky, an aquarium worker will give you a special tour. She can show you how the animals are fed, how their tanks are cleaned, and how they are cared for when they get sick. Field trips are a good way to learn about interesting jobs. You might discover that you want to work at an aquarium someday.
What vocabulary words did you hear there? Can you think of any? I heard the word local again because aquariums tell you about fish and other water animals that live in the local waters. I also heard the word intelligent. Sea animals are very intelligent and dolphins are very intelligent creatures. Let's keep going to see what other vocabulary words we can find.
If you think working with sea animals would be fun, what about fighting fires? Another exciting field trip is a tour of a local fire station. In many communities, people volunteer to fight fires to help keep people in their town safe. At the firehouse, firefighters will show you their trucks, uniforms, and other equipment. You might even get to sit in a fire truck. Firefighters cooperate with other workers in the community. Often, they work together with police officers. Community helpers share facts that will keep everyone safe. Firefighters also work with animal rescue workers to help save dogs and cats. You will learn how quickly firefighters get ready when someone calls about a fire or emergency. After a tour of the firehouse, You will know what to do if there is a fire or emergency.
What vocabulary words did you hear in this section? I heard local because it was talking about a local firehouse. And then I also heard volunteer, that many of the firefighters volunteer to work there. That means they are offering to do it. They're not getting paid to do it or anything. They're just doing it because it's something they want to do to help out the community. Let's listen to our last section.
How do you get your mail every day? What happens to a letter after you drop it in a mailbox? What's a zip code anyway? You can find out the answers to all of these questions and more when you take a field trip to a local post office. During your field trip, you'll learn how a piece of mail gets from one place to another. First, a post office worker weighs the letter or package. Then, the customer pays for the stamps. Next, other workers sort the letters and packages and load them onto trucks. Finally, the carriers deliver the mail to your house. When you are on a field trip, it is important to ask questions. Adults are there to teach you about their jobs. Do you wonder how many post office workers work together to deliver all the mail to your neighborhood? Do you know how much money it costs to send a letter? Now is your chance to ask.
I heard 2 vocabulary words in that one. I heard local. It was talking about your local post office. That one was used on every picture that we had text to go along with. Then I also heard the word neighborhood in there. Okay, I have 2 questions for you now. Were you listening really closely so that you could give me the answers? My first question is, what might you see on a field trip to a museum? Oh, I'm sorry. What might you see on a field trip to an aquarium? I meant to say aquarium because we were talking about a museum. What might you see on a field trip to an aquarium? You might see fish and plants. You might see how the animals were fed. So you might see all different kinds of animals and fish and plants. Okay, my second question is, why do people volunteer to fight fires? Remember, when you volunteer, you're not getting paid anything to do it. You're just doing it because you want to do it. So why do you think people would volunteer to fight fires? Maybe they want to keep the town and the community and their neighborhood safe. And they want to keep their neighbors safe and the people who live there safe. And so that's why they volunteer to do it. Thank you for listening with me today, boys and girls, and I hope you have a great day.